Hambini fans, and welcome to another episode of Hambini Reams. Something a bit different for you today. We've got budget wheels on the show and this brand called Carvon. Now, you've probably not heard of Carvon, but the people behind it are fairly familiar in cycling circles. For the princely sum of 650 quid-ish delivered, you can have these. Now, it's not very often I give wheels a 10. But these are a 10. So if you're not going to watch the rest of this video, just remember that. Now they are built like a tank. So if you are going to go bike packing around the world or use these for gravel or road use, I don't think you're going to get much better wheels than these. When you buy them, you can request to have that logo, no logo, or your own logo. You just need to email lady at Carvon and she'll sort you out, or you can do it via their website. This is pretty much the scope of delivery, so you don't get anything else. There's no tubeless valves, nothing. This is it. This is the budget end of cycling. The rim is about 50 mil-ish deep. The internal width is bang on 24 and the exterior is bang on 30. So the rim has no spoke holes, so if you're going to run tubeless, you can do that. It's just a drop in. And if you're going to run with a tube, you don't have to worry about rim tape, so you can take off another 40-ish grams per rim, I guess, depending on the kind of tape that you use. Bit of a crap test, I know, but nonetheless, this rim is extremely strong. There's no give at all in the sidewalls. Now this wheel rim is quite aerodynamic, so someone has put a bit of thought into there. This has a mild taper all the way up to this point, at which point it falls off. The alpha critical angle, if you taper this all the way, it would be beyond that, so it would separate pretty much at the point where the rim was set in, but this doesn't have that, so it's a mild taper up to there and then cliff edge. So we've got alloy nipples, which are fully exposed. So if you need to do any adjustments, no problem. You can use a set of mole grips. So the spokes, there are 24 on each wheel. So they're cross-laced on both sides. So this is the front wheel, cross-laced. We've got 12 on that side, 12 on that side. This is the back wheel. Again, this is cross-laced on both sides, so it can take torque in both directions. It gives you quite a lot of redundancy in the case of failure. The spokes are steel, flat-bladed, so they're mildly aerodynamic, and they're made by a company called Alpina. Now, this brand has been, I guess, growing quite a lot. Now, they are steel, but they're only mildly magnetic. So if I take this, see, it is magnetic, but it's not massively magnetic. Now this is a strong magnet. Allow me to demonstrate, because yeah, that is a pretty strong magnet, but the wheel is not really that magnetic. Now if I did that with a set of Sapim spokes, that would just pick the wheel up straight away, but this is only mildly magnetic. That's a very crap way of telling the difference. I don't really like putting subjective feedback in reviews, but if you were to ride the Alpina spokes versus the Sapim, you notice the ride on the Alpina is a lot smoother. There's less vibration, so the damping is better. This is the hub. It is a H-Works gravel spec hub, so you could easily use these on gravel if you wanted to. It's not marketed for that, but I think this wheel set is built like a tank. Standard kind of affair, gravel spec. The thing you notice is, if I get this off, so you've got the end cap. That's a standard H-Works end cap. It's well sealed. One seal there, another seal there. Free hub has a seal there, the springs there, and then two seals on this side. I think the standard H-Works only has the one on the road spec hub, and there's the spring. This is called a PG ratchet. That's what H-Works call it. So we've got the two bits of the ratchet system. So when you go that way, it's locked, and then that way it can spin. It's similar-ish to a Hearth kind of coupling, not quite the same. And then we've got another spring and a spacer. And then in there, so in here, there's another rubber seal on the inside and a rubber seal on the outside. Behind there, you've got another spacer that holds the spring in and a 15267 bearing. So it's a really large bearing for the hub. So the body of this hub, I'm pretty sure, is 7000 series alloy. So the free hub 7000 series. The hub body where the flanges for the spokes and things go, I think is 6000 series. Now there was some debate on, I think it was Weight Wankers. Someone said that 7000 series is far superior to 6000 series. There are a few little differences. 7000 series is slightly stiffer, and the ultimate tensile strength of a 7000 series is more, but the big difference is 6000 series is, I think, significantly easier to machine, and it's less brittle, which is probably something you'd want in a free hub. And I'd say it's also more corrosion resistant in this particular application. If I just go briefly back to this sealing arrangement, because I didn't talk about it in enough detail. This is like a U. So the free hub goes into a slot that's shaped like a U. So the seal is in space inside, so it's very difficult for something to get over. A lot of them are just face to face like that, so material can come through the gap, especially when it wears, because when it's new it's together. After it wears it comes apart, but when it's like a U, you haven't really got that wear problem, and there's low drag as well. Now, buying budget wheels is a bit of a minefield, especially at the very, very low end, the 300 or 400 quid end if you buy from AliExpress. Now, I don't think you're gonna have that problem with Carvon because they're a bit more expensive, but how do they rack up compared to these? So these are the 9 Velo Extreme wheels. They're about the same depth. They cost significantly more, but where's the difference? Now, the big differences are threefold. So one is the cost. So the 9 Velo is considerably more expensive. The other is the weight, and associated with it are the aerodynamics. So if we take this wheel just by hand, I can tell that it's a lot lighter. It's got less spokes. They're carbon spokes, so you've got a weight saving there. So there's 20 spokes on that wheel, 24 on there. The other thing is this one has holes for the spoke access. This one is completely blind, so you've got that difference in rim tape, which is often not quoted. And then in this ever arching quest for lightweight, we've gone to carbon spokes and bladed carbon spokes, and this creates a problem. It's not just a method of swapping spokes from steel to carbon. You actually have to do some machining differences. So if we take a look at this hub, so hopefully you can zoom in. Just gonna get the pencil. If you look here, this spoke head is a T shape. Now it's a T shape, so the spoke can actually come through, because if it was a round head, this spoke, which is like 4 mil-ish wide, wouldn't go through the hole. So they've had to make that T shape. So if you take a look at this one, it's just a round hole. So it just takes a round-ish spoke, or you could put a normal round spoke through there, but it just so happens that this spoke is a smaller width than the hole, so you don't have to machine that. Now if you also have a look at the amount of material on this hub, bear in mind we've got 24 spokes on this wheel, but look how much material is there versus how much material is on this one. So there's, let's just pick the brake disc side, there's significantly less, and that's again to reduce weight. Just in case it wasn't totally clear on the video footage, this is just a round hole, so it's not T-shaped. So a normal spoke hole just looks round like that. In the case of a bladed spoke, what they do is it becomes a slot, so it looks more like that, so that your maximum spoke width that you can get in that case is only that. But if you go for the T-head, you can have that. Now there are some other alternatives, because you could just get non-captive hubs, which is an option. Right, it is that time of the show again. It is time for PowerPoint. I've kept this simple. The best cheap wheels you can get. Now occasionally you get something that comes along which is quite unexpectedly good, and this is one of those. By Hambini, age 5. Remember to like me on Instagram and on Facebook, and also I've got my Patreon page. Right, first thing, wheel designs. Because you can have your own logo on the side of the wheels and on the hub, I thought I would pick a few to pick from. So we can have Juan Hugh Janus, Hambini loves Patrick Lino, and Berry McCock Inner. Enough of that stupidity. This is the Carvon website, so you can go around, have a look through all the bits and pieces through there. There's a reasonable amount of information around brand story and all that jazz. You can have a look, shipping, contact us, blog, yada yada yada. I don't think that's, oh no, right. Here is what you could have got, right? You could get some of these. So if you go on AliExpress and then type in carbon fiber wheels, you get an abundance of cheap wheel sets. Now some of these prices are ridiculous, like 55 quid for the wheels. When you actually click on it, you'll find it's just like a free hub or a spoke or something like that. But if you actually get the genuine wheels, this one, I guess, is one I clicked on, 415 quid plus 50 quid to get it delivered. So you're at 500-ish. And I don't know if you get taxed on AliExpress. I've got an EORI number, so I don't, but, well, I do, but it's a bit of a different setup because it'd be B2B. But anyway, this is the specification. If you have a look through, I mean, the thing that you're really, I would say, skimping on is not really the rim. It tends to be the hub and the types of spokes that they use. In this case, the spoke, a pillar spoke, I don't know if that's a good one or not, but the hub, the Gusta hub, never heard of them. So yeah, it's a bit of a minefield. Take your pick. The wavy type wheels, again, there's only like one review for that one, whereas there's quite a few reviews for that one, so 600 for that one. That's the Carvon website. Now, if you go to Westernish wheels, I've clicked on Scribe. Scribe is really just rebranded stuff from China. So I think they're based in the Northern Ireland, and it's an ex-Wiggle/chain reaction guy that runs it. So they have all of this stuff in here, and some, I would say, slightly questionable aero. I mean, the difference between 2.4 newtons of drag and 2.41 newtons of drag, I would be struggling to see if you could actually tell the difference reliably. But there you go, that's the difference there. 2.41 versus 2.4. I think you could be struggling, boys. That's one thing you could get. 1,500 quid. Scope, so 898 quid, and And then again, I mean, the thing with this is, I mean, it says lightweight, right? And it goes on about local reinforcement, which has been going around in China for years. But check this out, 1,723 grams for the weight. That ain't that light. Okay, it is a bit deeper, but it's heavy. And then the fast forward Riot wheels. So these are map deck approved, so that's probably a reason not to get them, but they're like 1,800 quid with DT. Just to put that into a little bit of a summary, this is the kind of stuff that you could get. The first thing is you could end up spending, I would say, double the cash for an equivalent-ish wheel. So this is probably the nearest equivalent, but the hub on it is garbage. If you get the Carvon wheel, you're getting a H-Works hub, which it isn't the lightest H-Works hub out there, but it is a H-Works hub. The scope wheels are a lot nearer to the price, but look at that, 1,723 grams. Oof, it's like carting a brick round. And then the fast forward wheels from Mapdeck, they're 1,500 quid with the fast forward hub, and then if you went to the DT hub, they're 1,800 quid. You'll be way better off getting the Carvon wheels, in all honesty. This is the test set from that wheel. If I just go through a couple of the points really, the spoke tensions are really good. There's hardly any deviation. I mean, the real star of this show is that hub. That makes quite a big difference to the wheel. I mean, the runouts are all pretty much zero, and the vibration from it is also really, really low. Right, if you've got any questions or comments, remember to smash them in the box below. Please leave a comment. I like comments, especially replying to them. I do read them all. Might not reply to them all, but I do read them all. Remember to follow me on Instagram and on the website, hambini.com, and on Patreon. Right, that is the end of the show. If you did enjoy it, remember to smash that like button. If you didn't, go screw yourself. As always, keep banging your hairdresser.